We are relaunched as the Tip Tuesday podcast. Welcome to everyone that's joining. Come on in, come on in. We are so excited to have our new family with us, our YouTube family. We have everyone coming in from our social media family, from Facebook, from Instagram. Come on in, say what's up to us. We are so happy that you all are on. Can y'all tell I am so excited? This is the first night of me recording for the podcast. Okay. Welcome. Come on, Tip Tuesday family. Let's give our new subscribers, new followers, new family members a warm welcome. We are now the Tip Tuesday podcast, and I am so happy about that. Just giving people a couple more minutes to come in. Like I said, so happy to see everyone. So happy that everyone is on here. So happy for our new streaming platform. After this airs tonight, you will be able to catch the replay of this podcast on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. So thank you for joining us. For those of you who are new, who will watch this on YouTube, who will hear it on podcast, my name is Tiffany Hale, and I am the creator and host of the Tip Tuesday Show, where we support purpose, living a purpose-driven life, and Black businesses just period. We are expanding this season, hence the new platforms that we have. So we're just so happy. Can you all hear me? Let me know if I need to have this volume turned up. But like I said, we are expanding and we are so happy to be here. So not only am I the creator and the host of Tip Tuesday, but there's some other things that I do. And so since you're new, I will share those with you and just let you know where we're headed in this season. We're going to be focusing on business, leadership, and relational topics or interpersonal communication this season. I normally host the show and bring on a plethora of resources for business owners or leaders alike. We're just expanding in our leadership topics this season. But I wanted to give more of myself in this season and more of my gifts and my talents. So I am a business and strategy coach or a trusted strategic advisor. I'm also an executive coach, and I hold my graduate degree in conflict resolution and professional communication. And so I work with, I'm also the principal and CEO of my own consulting firm. So with this consulting firm, I work with CEOs, CFOs, COOs, business leaders, government leaders on strategy. So when a company or a business owner or an executive team has a new vision that they need to roll out, I come in as an advisor or as a consultant and just help them roll out that vision. And so today I wanted to touch on leadership. Now we're going to be talking, so this is going to be like a semi-informal platform. It's going to be a little more informal than we normally do on social media because we just want to talk. And I want to make sure that I get into the nooks and the crevices of these different topics that we're going to be speaking about. And so I wanted to talk about leadership. Leadership is one of my passions, actually, just like purpose. Purpose is my passion. My family that has followed me over from social media knows that I am a purpose enthusiast. Some know, not all, but they should know now that I'm a business coach. But I'm also passionate about leadership. And we're going to talk about so many different aspects of leadership throughout this season. But I wanted to come and lay the foundations of leadership. The family knows before I bring anyone on this platform to speak to you all, I want to lay a foundation. I want to let you know where we're coming from and what you can expect to receive. So I want to lay some foundations of leadership. And I'm not coming to you today as a leader myself, even though I am a visionary leader, and we're going to talk about the different types of leaders. I am a visionary leader because I mean, Tip Tuesday, I am the visionary and creator of this platform. It is my baby. So I am a visionary leader, but that's not my strongest point. I am actually stronger in the area of support leadership or advisory leadership. So I work best and I'm graced best to work with visionary leaders, but I also rise to the occasion when I need to, as with my own consulting firm and with Tip Tuesday, to be a visionary leader. But I'm not coming to you today as a visionary leader, because visionary leaders, they have such a aerial view, eagle eye view. I mean, they are sharp. They know what they want. They know where they're going, but they also have a lot of blind spots. So I'm coming to you today in my strongest role as an advisory leader, because I know what it is to work with a visionary leader and everything it takes as a leader to not only be a good leader, but build a good team. Ever heard that phrase? Your team, your tribe is everything. I know they say that a lot on social media, but I'm telling you, as a good leader and as a good business person, your team really does mean everything. And a visionary leader really, if they don't know how to pick a good team, they need someone on their team that knows how to pick a good team. So let's jump into it. I'm going to just give you a couple points. We can't go through everything. These are the points I'm going to share with you today are more of the advisory tips that I would share with a CEO or a chief of a government agency, more so than just the executive staff, even though I work with a lot of executive staff. And I'll do it with business owners too, because it really has to get into like I said, the nooks and crevices of what needs to be done to move the vision forward. So the first thing in being a good leader is knowing who you are. Who are you and what you're graced to do? And I know that sounds so simple, but trust me, if that answer is not crystal clear from the beginning, nothing you do or I do down the line is going to be profitable or the most profitable for us. So what do I mean by that? You need to know who you are so you'll know what lane you need to be in, even in leadership, because there are different lanes in leadership. Like I said, there's a visionary leader, there's an advisory leader, there's a people leader, there's an operations leader. And if you find yourself in any one of those, and there are several other leaders, but I'm just throwing out a few right now. If you find yourself in any of those lanes that you don't really function well in, then you're going to find yourself frustrated because you're not rising to the level proficiency that you probably really could do if you were in the right lane. So I talked a little bit about a visionary leader. A visionary leader is the person who has the vision. They know exactly where they want to go. They know exactly where they want to end up. And they know kind of on the inside what it takes to get there, but they can't really get you there. And so then there's because they're not involved in the details. A visionary leader is not involved in the details. They have a very aerial or bird's eye view. These people are great. They are, and because they're usually smart, they're usually sharp, they can have the blind spot of thinking that they can do everything. Because in their heads and in their hearts, they know what they want done, but they're usually not the people who can get it done. And so then you have an advisory leader or a support leader, which is, my grace. It's who I am. And an advisory leader is the person who can find hidden solutions to root problems and make recommendations. And so the visionary leader doesn't need the person to come in and tell them what to do, but they do need recommendations. Because the baby is so close in their heart, because it's their vision, they may not see everything. And so an advisory leader comes in as a person who is connected to the vision, but they don't hold the vision so close to heart that they can't see outliers or hidden solutions. And so that's a support leader. And sometimes you have support leaders who are trying to be visionary leaders, or you have visionary leaders who are trying to be support leaders, and they become frustrated because they know that they can do more than what they're doing, but it's just not happening. Then we have a people's leader. And I want to slow down right here, because at this point, the people leader, they may not have the big vision. They can't see all the hidden solutions or know the root problems, but they know how to garner and gather the people in. The people leader is the person that the people is going to follow. You ever seen like a visionary leader, somebody who really knows what they're doing, but nobody likes them? Like nobody's going to follow them? That person needs a people leader on the team. We're talking about leadership today. Hey, do me a favor. If you like what we're talking about, like, subscribe, and share this broadcast if you think it'll be a help to someone. This should help people who are, I don't care if you're a leader in your home, in your relationship, if you're a parent leader, if you're a spouse leader, if you're a leader in a church, an organization, a business, an independent contractor. These tips will help you lead in whatever areas you lead in. And everyone is a leader to some capacity. You just have to know the capacity that you lead in. So we're going to get back to this, the people leader. This is one of, I would say, the biggest mistakes I see when I'm working with executive teams and even business owners. Just because you're the business owner, sometimes you don't need to be the face of the business. You have people who are very smart, but people may not connect with you like that. And if they don't, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how good the vision is, you need people to help move the vision forward. So you cannot be a person who does not like people, and people don't like you, and you put that person as the face of your business, or as the face of your organization, or as the face of your group. I'm telling you, that vision, it may go somewhere, but it's not going to go to the optimum place that it could go. And this is where visionary leaders have to know what they can do and what they can't do. This is where advisory leaders have to recommend, hey, you got this vision, but you can't carry out this part. We have to bring in another expert, or we have to bring in another leader who can lead the people effort and garner the people in. And then we have operations leaders. So I'm going to just kind of focus on, and because we have financial leaders, we have other types of leaders, but I just really want to focus on the visionary, and then team leaders. And we'll probably do another show about that. Team leaders are so important. Team leaders are probably what you would consider like the supervisor or the manager or department leader in businesses. They may not have an executive role, they may not be a director, they may not be a chief, but their leadership role, because they almost are the people leader. They kind of operate in that. And I actually think that the operations leader and the people leader should work in tandem. So again, like, share, subscribe if this is helping you. These tips should help you for your home, business, work, whatever you're in, friend groups, they can even help with that. So you have the operations leader. The operations leader is the person who's on the front line, making it happen. So the visionary leader and the advisory leader, they may be back in the boardroom, making decisions, coming up with the overall plan, coming up with the overall recommendations, and doing all the back work, doing the observations. I do a lot of observations, I do a lot of interviewing. But when it's time to roll this out, it's only so much discussing you can do. Leaders have to roll out a plan and let the plan start working. One thing I've noticed with leaders, and I can say this because I'm a leader will have a million ideas, a million ways you can get it done, and ain't doing probably about 10 of them. We as leaders have to know who we can give the plan to and who's going to make the plan work. So we have a visionary leader who knows where we're going. They're telling us where we're going. We have a support leader. My job is to what is the best way to make this happen? I'm the strategy person. What is the best way to make this happen in the most efficient manner, in the most efficient time? And A support leader is really good at identifying the strengths and the weaknesses of others. And so I've gone into businesses sometimes and I'll do interviews with staff, and it'll be leadership but think they want to cut the person because they're not good at something. And I'll say, no, they actually are good at something. It's just the position you have them in. They're set up for failure. They're not good at that position. Like, you got them in a position that upplays all of their weaknesses. You just need to put them in a position that upplays their strengths. So us as leaders in the community, leaders in our home, it's even like with our children. You know which kid has which strong points. You don't set up the kid who's in la la land on a strategic matter, and you don't set up the kid who's very logical and strategic and put them on the most creative project in the house, because they're probably not going to do their best there. Now, you can put them there so they can learn different skills, but when it's time to get down to business, you want to put the right people in the right place. Some visionary leaders can do that. Most of the time they can't, and I'll tell you why. And the stuff I'm telling you, you guys, I'm telling you, is tips and secrets I give to see. Sometimes it's not the big things, it's the little foxes that destroy the vine. And so these are just like little fox things that we want to lay foundation on. So when the leaders that we have this season coming in, because we're going to have some CEOs coming in, we're going to have some CFOs coming in as chief financial officer, chief operating officer, chief executive officers. We're going to have some government chiefs come in and talk to us and lead. And we're going to have some community leaders come in, and even a few politicians. So we're just going to have people come in, and when they're speaking, I want you to know who you are so you can take the information that suits you best and benefit from it. So we have the operations person. They are on the front line day to day. They know who to contact, who not. It's not that they're doing everything, but they know who to contact. They know who can get it done. If they can't get it done, they know who can get it done. And they are working the grunt work of the plan out. They're usually the ones who will know first, hey, we may need to go back to the drawing board and tweak this part and tweak that part and tweak this timeline, because now that we're on the ground doing this, it's not going to work that way. So that's your operations leader. And so what I want you to take away today from this podcast is I wanted you to ask yourself, one, who are you? What are you graced to do? You have something that you can do. And let me tell you these two ends of the spectrums that we normally fall into. You have people who they're leaders, but they don't think they're leaders. But they're leaders. They have some type of leadership capacity, or they even have the gift of leadership, and they don't know it because it's never been utilized. No one's never spoken to their life. No one's ever pulled it out. And so they don't think that they are leaders at all. And then you have the other end of the spectrum of people who are just opinionated and maybe loud. And they think that they're leaders because they are opinionated. However, I mean, that can help if you're a leader. You know, you definitely want to have an opinion, but being opinionated does not make you a leader. So we want to be able, and I do think that everyone has leadership capacity in them, but as a visionary leader, as an advisory leader, and as a people's leader, you got to know those who labor among you. You got to know who is graced for what, even if they don't know what they're graced for. And that's one thing I love to do. If you've seen any of my past shows, if I'm led to, at the end of the show, I will always try to speak into the person's life. And I'm not speaking into the person's life off of anything they told me. I'm speaking into the person's life off of what I discern from my conversation with them or from being around them. And in leadership, there's a certain amount of discernment you have to walk into, because some people are so shy or have no confidence, and they may not know who they are. And we have to be able to see who they are. We have to be able to speak it. We have to be able to cultivate it. We have to be able to groom it, because that's what we do as leaders. So knowing who you are, knowing what you're graced to do, knowing where to place people on your team. So that's the second question. I want you to ask yourself after this podcast, if you're in business, if you're on a job, if you're part of a team on a job, if you're part of a friendship, a family, I don't care what it is, a sports team, are the people on your team positioned correct? One, are you positioned correctly? And then are the people on your team positioned correctly? I always use this example with CEOs. You cannot let the face of the vision be someone who is nasty. You're not going to get people to buy into no vision is going to work unless you get people to buy into it. And so sometimes leaders get it twisted because they think they have a good vision that is automatically just going to work. No, people have to work the vision. People have to buy into the vision, and people have to like the vision. I had someone on the show last season when we talked about serial entrepreneurship, and she really talked about how people go with who they like. You can have the best product, but sometimes people go with who they like. So I'll say that, and we're just going to get real. You can be smart, but if you're not a people's person, you need a people's leader on your team. And sometimes, we do that with marketing, especially with bigger companies. That's where we go into marketing and with branding. But if you're just, in a leadership role, on the job, and you have to do your job, you have to pull in people. So you ever known that person, in church, they may not have the vision, they may not lead any team, but if you get their buy-in, you most likely will get the people buy-in. You got those people on the job where they may not lead anything, they may not talk much in a meeting, but if you get that one person to buy into it, that person will get the rest of the team to buy into it. These are the people who are culture changers, and they're like culture. We call them people and culture leaders. Some companies call them people leaders. Some people call them people and culture leaders. I love a culture leader because it is very hard to change culture, and it's not going to be the boss that changes the culture of a company. It's not going to be the boss that changes the culture of an organization. It's going to be the people on the ground every day. So those are the two questions I want you to ask yourself. One, who are you? What are you graced to do? Two, who is on your team? And after watching this podcast and doing a reassessment, do you have your team members in the appropriate place? And lastly, as a leader, the best leaders are servant leaders. Leaders are called to build up, to help, to edify, to lead. The whole definition of a leader is to guide someone along a way that we've already been. And so sometimes that takes speaking into them when they don't even know who they are. As leaders, we speak into people's lives, we build them up, we see what they don't see. We make hard decisions because sometimes they don't see what's up the road, but we do. And as leaders, we have to make decisions that sometimes the people we lead don't understand. Nevertheless, when the fulfillment of that goal or that desire comes, they'll understand and they'll see, the reason for our style of leadership. But I really kind of want to talk about that today. Leadership is so important. Being a leader in our community, in our businesses, in our homes, in our friendships, and not saying, I know that we use this thing of leader, everybody can't be the leader. Everyone has leadership capacity in them. Everyone can't be the same leader of a project, but as we talked about today, you can have different leaders doing different things to bring about one common goal and one common result. So I hope this helped you. We are going to have more sessions on so like I said, I'm going to show up in my business coach role, in my strategy coach role more, in my interpersonal communication coach role more. One, because I have seen some dynamic leaders and business owners, and sometimes they just lack that interpersonal communication. So I really want to work on that. Conflict resolution, interpersonal communication, relational topics, of course. And so we'll be talking about all of that. I am so excited. We have a very special guest coming. So our next show will be in 2 weeks. And we're going to have a very special guest on. Watch out for their promotion next week. We just wanted to whet your palate today for our season 3 opener. I wanted to introduce myself to the YouTube family, to the Apple Podcast family, to the Google Podcast family, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on them all. You can catch the replay on those platforms this week. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I can be reached at admin@tiptuesday.net. That's ADMIN @tiptuesday.net. I'm going to be a little more informal. I'm going to share a little bit more of myself and my expertise. And I just hope to help build each and every one of you up. Well, until next time, peace and blessings to the tribe. And here's to a purpose-driven week. Love you all. See you next time. Tip Tuesday.